So I went home. She was still in Europe. She got orders to rotate to Fort Benning, Georgia. So I waited for her. So then we moved to Fort Benning, Georgia. This is December 1990, going into January 91. So all of the military police units from Fort Benning were deployed to the Gulf. And so I got a job as a DOD police officer down there at Fort Benning. So, which is natural, me being a military policeman, I knew all the forms and everything that were needed to do the job. So we did that, or I did that, I should say. And then all the troops came back, and then before the troops come back, my mom calls me. Hey, the government called. And I was like, son of a gun, they're going to call me back to active duty. So I called the number. It's like, hi, Jeff. And I said, hi. I said, I heard I'm supposed to call you. And they said, yes. And I said, what's up? And they said, well, we would like you to come back to active duty to train. I go, to train? Yeah, just to keep your skills up. And I go, well, I'm a DOD police officer right now on Fort Benning. And I said, I'm doing pretty much the same thing as the military police is. So I don't really need training. And he goes, okay, we just thought we would call and offer that to you. And I remember hanging up going, whew, I'm not getting deployed to the Gulf. Because I knew they were forming up MP battalion on Harmony Church, which is part of Fort Benning, Georgia. And I thought they're gonna drag me back in, but they didn't. So fast forward, all the troops come back, very emotional comeback. I was glad to see all the troops coming back and not a lot of people injured or killed in that conflict. And so then I was out of a job. So I decided that I was going to try and get this job in a warehouse. I think it was like a month or two later, I think it was. And being a warehouse manager now, I get people in that says they have tons of experience, hey, I need this much experience. Do you have it? Yep, I got it. And then it turns out they don't. And so just recently my supervisor said something to me about it. And I go, listen, I said, when I first got into warehousing, driving a forklift, I lied. I lied that I had all this experience, but it's fine. I'm kind of a natural at it. I really like driving forklifts. So I went to work for this warehouse. It was contracted for meat paper mill, so we were handling these big rolls. And so yeah, it was a job I really liked. The company was decent. I mean, back in the 90s, I was making $8.30 or $8.50 an hour, I think it was, as a forklift driver. But over at the plant, the meat paper mill, they were making twice as much and not doing as much work as I am. So I learned every aspect of that job. But once I got to be a sheeter operator, I was working 12-hour days, 7 days a week. And I think that went on for about 6 months. And I finally said, this is enough. So I quit. Right in the middle of the night, my boss said, if we get laid off and we hire another forklift or operator, you're going to be the first one to be laid off. And I said, wait a minute, I'm lead operator here. And he goes, I'm telling you what's going to happen. So that kind of ate at me, and I just hit that e-stop at 12 o'clock in the morning, called him, said, I quit, click. And the owner of the warehouse called me the next morning and said, do you want your job back on a forklift? And I said, yes. I said, I'll be there tomorrow. So that's what I did. So flash forward, this is 1993, I think it was March. And the wife got orders to rotate back to Europe. So we said our goodbyes. She took off to Europe. It was about a week before I heard anything from her. I was trying to track her down, see what's up. Turns out that they offered her Belgium, which is SHAPE, Strategic Headquarters Allied Powers Europe, SHAPE, in Mons, Belgium, and that's where I tracked her down to. Well, turns out that in that short period of time, she had an affair, and that was devastating, because I wanted my marriage to be like my mom and dad's. When Dad died, I think it was 47 years, 46 years, something like that. It was a long time. And so for the next 4 months, I would fly to Belgium to try and save my marriage. And it was expensive. And I tried and tried to repair it and couldn't. And I remember coming back that last time, and when I got in the car with my dad, I said, "I'm sorry, Dad." I said, I couldn't repair it. And he says, "It's okay." And I said, "No." I said, "I've wasted a lot of money, some of it yours, trying to do this, and I failed." So that left me in a very bitter place. Not to be a chauvinist or anything, but at that point, I didn't want to hear anything from a woman because of what happened. I did go back for a year and live over there with her, but eventually it was not. We couldn't save it. So in 95, 96, I think it was, I came back to Ohio and moved back in with Mom and Dad because, I didn't have a career really and was trying to find work, but no money. And so, I took a long, hard look at where I was in life, and I was lost. When your world turns upside down, it just kills you. And I didn't know what to do. And so I started thinking. And one thing that popped out to me is I always took pictures when I was in Europe, and I thought I had a pretty good eye at it. So I don't know if it was a snap decision or what, but another road opened up, which will take us to the next episode. And that leads us to 1996, of June of 1996, where that road starts again on a different branch. So again, if you like what you're hearing, I know it's my life story. Maybe some people can, look at it and say, "Hey, I can relate to this guy." Maybe you can take something about resilience and getting back up to just dust yourself off and yeah, you're hurting and you're hurting bad, but life isn't that bad that you have to go to extremes. Like I said, I just kind of stepped back and said, okay, what's next? And that's what you guys need to think about, is when you hit rock bottom, and trust me, this is not rock bottom. Rock bottom comes a little bit down the road. I thought it was rock bottom, but boy, that was just a cliff, and that edge is going to drop a whole lot in the future for me. So you just have to stop, take a deep breath, reevaluate, look at your options, and keep driving forward. You have to keep driving forward. There is no way back. The back is the past, and there is no changing it. So you have to continue to reinvent yourself. You have to be resilient. You have to Find that way. Yes, it's going to be painful. It's going to be very painful for people, but you have to look at the people around you that you have, your family, your friends. Didn't have a girlfriend or a wife, that was over. But you have to keep driving forward. I can't stress that enough. Throughout your life, you are going to hit these potholes. You are going to encounter these cliffs, and you are going to slide further than you ever thought you would. But you will make it. You will find a way. So hit subscribe, hit the notification button so you can catch the next episode, which is June 1996.